So now, looking at the reading component from today's lesson and picking up from where we left off in the book Qisas al-Nabiyyin. Story number 3, the title is Nasihatu Ibrahim. Nasihatu Ibrahim. In Nasiha, many times you might have heard this word before. People say, oh, I'm going to give him Nasiha, means real sincere advice. The kind of advice you give somebody purely out of love for that person and wanting the best for them. And this was the way Ibrahim was. He loved his people and he wanted the best for them. And because he wanted the best for them, he couldn't just sit by and watch them as they were, in misguidance and in shirk and doing things that are displeasing to Allah. So he had to stand up and make a point to his father and to his people out of his love for them. And this is nasiha. So the third story, Nasihatu Ibrahim, the advice of Ibrahim. Wa is a conjunction meaning and, or what is called in Arabic atuf. وَكَانَ إِبْرَاهِيمُ يَقُولُ لِوَالِدِهِ. And Ibrahim used to say to his father. We learned before the word walad. Walad is a boy or son. Walid with this alif here and then a kasra on the lam means father. So walad is waw, lam, dal with fatha on each of the letters meaning boy. Here is walid with a alif in between the waw and the lam and then a kasra on the lam, and that means father. It's literally the one that causes someone to be born. وَكَانَ إِبْرَاهِيمُ يَقُولُ لِوَالِدِهِ. And Ibrahim used to say, يَقُولُ is present tense verb to say, but because of kana here, as we learned before, it makes it in the past tense. وَكَانَ إِبْرَاهِيمُ يَقُولُ لِوَالِدِهِ. Ibrahim used to say to his father. The ha here, meaning him, goes back to Ibrahim. So as I mentioned before in the last video, that ha really has the meaning of huwa, but when it's connected to another word, it loses that waw. وَكَانَ إِبْرَاهِيمُ يَقُولُ لِوَالِدِهِ. Ibrahim used to say to his father, لِوَالِدِهِ, to his father. That lam in li is a preposition, it's a harf, and it has the meaning to. So many times you'll see verbs, they have a harf that comes after them to complete their meaning. So he says, who does he say to? We need that harf to say, just like in English, you don't say, when you want to say, I spoke to this person. That lam in the Arabic language has that meaning of to, like we would say in English. So what did he say? He said, Ya abi. Ya is what's called harf nida, which is a word for calling people. Ya abi, abi, my father. We saw in the grammar lesson today the word ab, or abun, when you read it with the tanween, means father. Here, abi means my father. Ya abi, limada ta'budu hadhihi al-asnam. Limada, we learned before, means why. Ta'budu, you worship. Hadihi, these. Al-asnam, idols, as we learned before. Now question, ask yourself, ta'budu. This is a fi'l mudari, a present tense verb. What conjugation is it conjugated for? It's conjugated for taf'al, meaning for anta, you. لماذا تعبد هذه الأصنام? Why do you worship these idols? So if we wanted to take the present tense conjugation for this verb, he worships would be ya'budu. Two men worship would be ya'budani. They worship, corresponding to whom, would be ya'buduna. She worships would be ta'budu. Just like here, except here it's with the meaning of you worship. Because we mentioned before, the feminine third person singular conjugation in the present tense is the same as the first person masculine conjugation in the present tense. So ta'budu could mean she worshipped, and then two women worship, ta'budani. A group of women worship, ya'budna. You worship, ta'budu. And that's what we have right here, ta'budu. You two men worship, ta'budani. You group of men worship, ta'buduna. You woman worship, ta'budina. You two women worship, ta'budani. You group of women worship, ta'budna. I worship, a'budu. We worship, na'budu. And that's what we have in Surah Al-Fatiha, right? Iyaka na'budu. We worship. So what I'm trying to do right here is get you to start making that connection to those patterns that you memorized and the verbs when we come across them in the text. Next he says, وَيَا أَبِي لِمَاذَا تَسْجُدُ لِهَذِهِ الْأَصْنَامِ. And oh my father, ya oh abi, my father, limada, why, tasjudu, you make prostration to these, lihadihi, so li is a harf, then hadihi, to these, al-asnam, idols. So we can do the same thing again here. Ask yourself, which pronoun is tasjudu conjugated for? Here we have a present tense verb where the one that's doing the verb is known. This is a fi'al mudari' ma'lum, a present tense verb where the one doing the verb is known. Who's it conjugated for? It's conjugated for anta. So now if we wanted to go through and do all the conjugations for this verb, we would, starting with huwa, you would say yasjudu, he prostrates, or he is prostrating. Yasjudani, two men prostrate. Yasjuduna, a group of men prostrate. Tasjudu, she prostrates. Tasjudani, two women prostrate. Yasjudna, a group of women prostrate. Tasjudu, you, anta, prostrate. And that's what we have here. He's speaking directly to his father. Anta, limada tasjudu lihadihi al-asnam. Limada tasjudu anta lihadihi al-asnam. Why do you, speaking directly to him, prostrate to these idols? Then if we wanted to say you two men, we would say tasjudani. If we wanted to say you group of men, we would say tasjuduna. If we wanted to say you woman prostrate, we would say tasjudina. If we wanted to say you two women prostrate, we would say tasjudani. If we wanted to say you group of women prostrate, we would say tasjudna. If we wanted to say I prostrate, we would say asjudu. And if we wanted to say we prostrate, we would say nasjudu. A good exercise for you to do also is, every day you should be reading a few pages of Quran, maybe 5 or 10 pages of Quran at the least. And when you're doing that, be looking for these patterns in Quran and be asking yourself, okay, is this conjugated for huwa or for humma or for hum or for hiya or for hunna? Is this talking about one man, two men, a group of men? Is it talking about one woman, a group of women? Constantly be asking yourself every time you see these patterns in Quran, who are they conjugated for? And maybe look up the translation and check and see if you got it right. And you always be looking for that in Quran. And you can practice as well with different verbs and from different roots, practicing these conjugations. He continues, إن هذه الأصنام لا تتكلم ولا تسمع. Inna is for emphasis. Indeed. Indeed, these idols, la is for negation, don't, تتكلم, they don't speak, ولا تسمع, and they don't hear. And as I mentioned before, the here, we'll leave تتكلم for now because this is a kind of a more complicated verb construction that we'll learn about in the future. But تسمع is on the pattern, is conjugated for hiya. So if we wanted to do all the conjugations for sami'a, which means to hear, if we wanted to do that in the present tense, al-mudari', al-ma'lum, then we would say he hears, yasma'u. Two men here, yasma'ani. A group of men here, yasma'una. She hears, tasma'u. And that's what we have right here. She hears, and it's conjugated for she because, as we mentioned before, the one that is the one doing the action is al-asnam, the idols. And anytime we have a plural in the Arabic language that is a non-thinking entity, then we will use the conjugation for hiya for she. And so we won't say yes, la yasma'una for a group male, we will say la tasma'u. This we'll learn in detail in the future. If you're not completely grasping it, no problem. I'm just going to keep throwing it out there until it sticks, inshallah. So let's try again doing the conjugations for this verb all the way through. Yasma'u is for huwa. He hears. Yasma'ani, two men hear. Yasma'una, a group of men hear. Tasma'u, she hears. Tasma'ani, two women hear. Yasma'na, a group of women hear. Tasma'u, anta, you hear. Tasma'ani, two men hear. Tasma'una, you group of men hear. Tasma'ina, you feminine hear. Tasma'ani, you two women hear. Tasma'na, you group of women hear. Asma'u, I hear. Nasma'u, we hear. وَإِنَّ هَذِهِ الْأَصْنَامَ لَا تَضُرُّ وَلَا تَنْفَعُ. And indeed, these idols don't harm and they don't help. وَلِأَيِّ شَيْءٍ تَدْعُ لَهَا الطَّعَامَ وَالشَّرَابَ. وَلِي, so wa, again and, li, for, أي, what, or it's kind of complicated what أي means, we'll get to it, but أي شيء, shay means thing, for what thing, تدعو, you put, لها, for these idols, الطعام والشراب, food, the food and drink. So الطعام means food and والشراب means drink. And I realize it might be difficult to completely absorb every single word that we come across in these readings. So what I'm going to do is, if you look in the info section for the video or the video description, I'm going to write a list of the important vocabulary words from each time that we do reading that you have to memorize. وَكَانَ آزَرُ يَغْضَبُ وَلَا يَفْهَمُ. And Azar used to be angry and not understand. Yaghdab means he is angry, and yafham means he understands. But here, wala yafham, so means and doesn't understand. So these are present tense verbs, as we said, but because of kana, the meaning is past tense. وَكَانَ آزَرُ يَغْضَبُ وَلَا يَفْهَمُ. And Azar used to be angry and not understand. وَكَانَ إِبْرَاهِيمُ يَنْصَحُ لِقَوْمِهِ. And Ibrahim used to give advice to his people. Qawm means people, like a nation, a group of people. Li is the harf meaning to, and then ha is for him, referring to Ibrahim. وَكَانَ إِبْرَاهِيمُ يَنْصَحُ لِقَوْمِهِ. Ibrahim used to give advice to his people. يَنْصَحُ, if you ask yourself, what's it conjugated for? يَفْعَلُ. So that's which pronoun? Huwa. So what's the meaning? He gives advice. Present tense, al-mudari al-ma'lum yaf'alu. So if we want to practice that conjugation in all its different, for all the different pronouns, yansahu, he gives advice. Yansahani, the two of men give advice. Yansahuna, the group of men give advice. Tansahu, she gives advice. Tansahani, the two women give advice. Yansahna, a group of women give advice. Tansahu, you give advice. Tansahani, you two give advice. Tansahuna, you group of men give advice. Tansahina, you feminine give advice. Tansahani, you two women give advice. Tansahna, you group of women give advice. Ansahu, I give advice. Nansahu, we give advice. وَكَانَ النَّاسُ يَغْضَبُونَ وَلَا يَفْهَمُونَ. And the people, we learned before, right? An-nas means people. وَكَانَ النَّاسُ يَغْضَبُونَ. Now you should know this verb, right? We just came across this verb in a sentence earlier. Ask yourself, where is this verb? Right here. وَكَانَ آزَرُ يَغْضَبُ وَلَا يَفْهَمُ. And Azar, the father of Ibrahim, used to be angry and not understand. يَغْضَبُ means he is angry. Here, يَغْضَبُونَ. Ask yourself, what is the meaning of يَغْضَبُونَ? It can't mean he is angry, because now we're conjugating it. We have this waw and that noon. So what pronoun is that conjugated for? It's conjugated for whom, with that meaning them. So يغضبون on that pattern يفعلون mean they were angry. وكان الناس يغضبون, and the people used to be angry. المضارع, this is a فعل مضارع معلوم conjugated for يفعلون. And same thing here, يفهمون. And they didn't understand. وَلَا يَفْهَمُونَ. يَفْهَمُ means he understands. يَفْهَمُونَ, they understand. وَلَا يَفْهَمُونَ, and they don't understand. وَقَالَ إِبْرَاهِيمُ أَنَا أَكْسِرُ الْأَصْنَامَ إِذَا ذَهَبَ النَّاسِ وَحِينَئِذٍ يَفْهَمُ النَّاسِ. قَالَ, said. So now this is a fi'l ماضي, a past tense verb, conjugated for fa'ala. قال إبراهيم, Ibrahim said. And like I mentioned before, this doesn't really look like fa'ala, right? That's because qala is complicated, because the middle letter is a weak letter. So don't worry about that. We'll learn that in the future. It has a little bit different way of conjugating. قال إبراهيم, Ibrahim said. So we have a verb here, and then Ibrahim, the subject of the verb. Now I want you to stop and ask yourself, what kind of sentence is this? We just learned today. This is a complete sentence. Ibrahim said. We have a verb, and then we have the one that's doing the verb. We have a fi'l, and then we have the fa'il, the one that's doing the action. A sentence that begins with a verb is called a jumla fi'liya, a verbal sentence, versus a sentence that starts with a noun, a jumla ismiya. So here we have a jumla fi'liya, a sentence that starts with a verb. قال إبراهيم, what does he say? أنا, I, أكسر الأصنام, break. كسر, يكسر means to break. So this is a present tense verb as well, a fi'al مضارع معلوم. It's known who's doing it. Ask yourself, what is it conjugated for? I mean, it's kind of cheating here because he's telling us right now, أنا. It's conjugated for أنا. This is on that pattern, أفعل. So if we want to do all the conjugations for يكسر, so he breaks, يكسر. Two men break, يكسران. A group of men break, يكسرون. She breaks, تكسر. Two women break, تكسران. A group of women break, يكسرن. You male break, تكسر. You two men break, تكسران. You group of men break, تكسرون. You female break, تكسرين. You two women break, تكسران. You group of women break, تكسرن. I break, أكسر. So that's what we have right here. So anytime you come across a verb and you're not sure who's the one doing the action, go through all that conjugations, that list of conjugations with the same letters until you get to the right one. أكسر, I break. نكسر, we break. أنا أكسر الأصنام. I break the idols, but here what it's meaning is I will break the idols. So as we said before, that we don't have a separate tense for the future. Al-mudari' means any action that's either taking place at the time of speaking or that will take place in the future. So here it's al-mudari', but he's talking about what he's going to do in the future. أنا أكسر الأصنام. I'm going to break the idols. إذا, when. إذا is means when. ذهب الناس. The people go. So ذهب here is a fi'l ماضي, a past tense verb, conjugated as you notice for fa'ala. So we didn't practice any past tense verbs today. So let's practice the conjugation for this. ذهب, he went. ذهبا, two men went. ذهبوا, the group of men went. ذهبت, she went. ذهبتا, the two women went. ذهبنا, a group of women went. ذهبت, you went, male. ذهبتما, you two men went. Dhahabtum, you group of men went. Dhahabti, you feminine went. Dhahabtuma, you two women went. Dhahabtunna, you group of women went. Dhahabtu, I went. Dhahabna, we went. I know this may seem a little redundant here, but in the beginning we have to practice that over and over and over again until we get used to how those conjugations work. So he says, أَنَا أَكْسِرُ الْأَصْنَامَ إِذَا ذَهَبَ النَّاسِ, I will break the idols when the people go. So an-nas here is the one that's doing the action ذَهَبَ. وَحِينَئِذٍ يَفْهَمُ النَّاسِ, and at that point, حِينَئِذٍ meaning at that time. وَحِينَئِذٍ يَفْهَمُ النَّاسِ, and حِينَئِذٍ is a good word. You'll come across in the Quran similar word يَوْمَئِذٍ, and in that day this will happen. يَوْمَئِذٍ يَصْدُرُ النَّاسِ, at that day the people will be doing this. حِينَئِذٍ, at that time. يَفْهَمُ النَّاسِ, at that time the people will understand. يَفْهَم, we came across earlier, understand. Part number 4 of the story. إِبْرَاهِيمُ يَقْصِرُ الْأَصْنَامِ, Ibrahim breaks the idols. وَجَاءَ يَوْمُ عِيدٍ فَفَرِحَ النَّاسِ, the day, yawm means day, Eid, we should know, means celebration, and ja'a means came. This is a past tense verb. جاء يوم عيد ففرح الناس, the day of Eid came. ففرح, so this fa is a ataf, just like wow. We have wow means and also fa means and. But fa can come to mean and with the meaning of causations. So this happened. وَجَاءَ يَوْمُ عِيدٍ, the day of Eid came. فَفَرِحَ النَّاسِ, so because of that, فَرِحَ النَّاسِ, the people were excited. فَرِحَ, past tense verb meaning were overjoyed or to be joyous. وَخَرَجَ, خَرَجَ also a past tense verb meaning to go out. وَخَرَجَ النَّاسِ لِلْعِيدِ وَخَرَجَ الْأَطْفَالِ, the people went out to Eid. وَخَرَجَ الْأَطْفَالِ, and the children went out. وَخَرَجَ وَالِدُ إِبْرَاهِيمَ وَقَالَ لِإِبْرَاهِيمَ, and the father, Walid of Ibrahim, خَرَجَ, he went out. وَقَال, and he said, لِإِبْرَاهِيمَ, to Ibrahim, أَلَا تَخْرُجُ مَعَنَا, won't you come out with us? This is a good example here too, right? Because we have خَرَجَ, and here we have تَخْرُجُ. So خَرَجَ is past tense verb. It's known who's doing the action on the pattern of fa'ala. So this is a fi'al, madi, ma'alum, conjugated for huwa on the pattern of fa'ala. He went out. تخرج is a fi'al mudari. It's a present tense verb, conjugated for anta. تخرج, you go out. And here he's asking a question. This hamza here means is the hamza called hamzatul istifham, the hamza of asking a question. ألا تخرج معنا, won't you come out with us? قال إبراهيم أنا سقيم, Ibrahim said, أنا سقيم, I am sick. سقيم means sick. وذهب الناس وبقي إبراهيم في البيت, the people went. وبقي means he stayed, when Ibrahim stayed in the house. وَجَاءَ إِبْرَاهِيمُ إِلَى الْأَصْنَامِ, Ibrahim came to the idols. وَقَالَ لِلْأَصْنَامِ, and said to the idols, أَلَا تَتَكَلَّمُونَ أَلَا تَسْمَعُونَ. Now one thing you'll notice here, earlier when we were reading, when the author is talking about the idols, he conjugated for the feminine the conjugation, the singular feminine conjugation. Earlier, the author said about the idols, لا تسمعوا, using تفعلوا, the pattern for hiya, but with the meaning of they, because as I said, the plural of non-thinking objects are conjugated like the singular feminine. But here, Ibrahim, when he speaks to him, he conjugates it for the male plural, taf'alun. Do you all not hear? So what you can do is Sometimes for something like idols, where they don't think, and they don't have intellect, they're just rocks, but because some people treat them as if they do have intellect, then you can speak to them with the normal conjugation. And it's almost as if Ibrahim here, he's making fun of them. He knows they don't speak, but he's addressing them in the language as if they were thinking beings that could speak. So he uses taf'alun, that conjugation, for antum, the male plural present tense conjugation. He says, هذا طعام وشراب. This is food and drink. ألا تأكلون? Will you not eat? ألا تشربون? Will you not drink? So here again, two verbs. تأكلون, conjugated for أنتم. Will you not all eat? تشربون, conjugated for as well for أنتم. Will you not all drink? If we wanted to conjugate for huwa, it would be يأكلوا. If we wanted to conjugate this for huwa, it would be يشربوا. وسقطت الأصنام. Sakata is a past tense verb, so when we conjugate for huwa, that would be sakata, but this is conjugated for hiya, so it's sakatat. But because we have a alif here that doesn't have a harakat on it, you can't have two letters that are sakin without a harakat next to each other, so we give it a kasra, because the kasra is the lightest harakat. And this is for people that studied tajweed, you see this in Quran all the time. Because this is hamzatul wasl, you don't say al-asnam, and you have to give the ta some kind of haraka to connect them, and so the lightest and easiest haraka is a kasra, so we say wasakatatil asnam. لأنها, and sakata means to become quiet, to not speak. Sakata, he was quiet. Sakatat, she was quiet. And here, because asnam comes after it, وَسَكَتَتِ الْأَصْنَامُ لِأَنَّهَا حِجَارَةٌ لَا تَنْطِقُ. The idols were quiet. Why? لِأَنَّهَا, because they are hijaratun, stones, لا تنطق, they don't speak. قال إبراهيم ما لكم لا تنطقون. Ibrahim said, and then here's a direct quote from Quran, from Surah Al-Saffat, ما لكم, what is with you, لا تنطقون, that you don't speak. حينئذ, we mentioned that on the previous page. حينئذ means at that time. غضب, was angry. إبراهيم وأخذ الفأس. أخذ, on the pattern فعل, فعل, ماضي, معلوم, meaning he took. الفأس, the axe. حينئذ غضب إبراهيم وأخذ الفأس. At that time, Ibrahim was angry and he took the axe. وضرب إبراهيم الأصنام بالفأس وكسر الأصنام. And ضرب, we know this word, right? Hit. Ibrahim hit the idols بالفأس, with the axe, وكسر الأصنام, and broke the idols. وترك إبراهيم الصنم الأكبر. الصنم is singular from أصنام, so أصنام is idols, الصنم is one idol, the idol. ترك means he left. وترك إبراهيم الصنم الأكبر. Ibrahim left the idol al-akbar, the biggest. وَأَلَّقَ الْفَأْسَ فِي أُنُقِهِ, and he hung, علق, he hung, al-fa's, the axe, في, in, عنقه, his neck. وترك إبراهيم الصنم الأكبر وعلق الفأس في عنقه. Ibrahim left the largest idol and hung the axe in his neck. We'll stop there, inshallah. I know maybe you weren't able to understand everything, but I'll leave a list of important vocabulary words in the section below. And the important thing from this lesson is that you learn those vocabulary words, inshallah.